The story of Cain and Abel is found in Genesis 4:1-16 in the Bible. Cain and Abel, the first murder, the sons of Adam and Eve. Before there was war, before kingdoms clashed, before the first city was built, there was a field, and in that field, a man's blood cried out to God. The brothers, Cain and Abel, sons of Adam and Eve, the first brothers in history. Cain worked the soil hard, stubborn earth that gave food through sweat and calloused hands. Abel kept the flock soft wool, living creatures, a gentler work, but one that required constant care. Both were raised with the same stories about God's will. Both knew the truth, that their parents once walked with God face to face. Both knew the cost of sin, the offerings. One day, they brought gifts to God. Abel brought the firstborn of the flock, the very best to God. Cain brought some of the crops he grew. Not the best, not the first, just some. And God, who sees the heart, looked with favor on Abel's offering. But Cain's offering, God did not accept it. The whisper. That's when the whisper came. The same whisper that his mother heard in the Garden of Eden. Cain was angry and jealous. He felt rejected by God. It wasn't loud. It didn't scream. It simply stirred something deep inside Cain. Why Abel and not you? You work harder. You deserve more. The whisper fanned the spark of jealousy into a fire of rage. God himself spoke to Cain. Why are you angry?
If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door.
It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Sin was like a predator to Cain, ready to pounce. But Cain didn't shut the door. The murder, Cain invited Abel to the field. No one else was there. The whisper had become a roar. And in a moment of blind fury, Cain struck his own brother down. The earth drank Abel's blood. The first murder in human history. The confrontation. Then came the voice of God.
Cain, God called out, "Where's your brother Abel?" Cain lied.
I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? And God said,
"What have you done? Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." The consequence. God said, "You are cursed, Cain, to be a restless and barren. A wanderer on earth, the ground would no longer yield for him."
He would become a restless wanderer. Yet even in judgment, God showed mercy. He placed a mark on Cain so no one would kill him. Cain left the presence of God. He built a city, but he could never escape the echo of that day, the whisper that became his ruin. Even though the serpent was not visible, he was there, whispering in Cain's ear. The lesson: Cain's story isn't just about murder. It's about the danger of letting jealousy, pride, and hurt sit in your heart. About what happens when you ignore God's warning. About the whisper that, if left unchecked, becomes the roar that destroys. That's a question a lot of people wonder about, and the answer is both practical and deeply spiritual. It wasn't just what Cain offered. It was how he offered it. Here's the breakdown. 1. Abel's offering. Abel gave the firstborn of his flock, the best, the very first, before keeping anything for himself. This showed faith and trust that God would provide more. His heart posture was gratitude and reverence. 2. Cain's offering. Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil. Not the first, not necessarily the best. Given out of obligation, not love. 4. 3. 5. Cain and Abel both brought offerings to the Lord. But God had regard for Abel and his offering, while for Cain and his offering he had no regard. The wording in Genesis suggests it lacked the same heart of worship. It was more of a token than a sacrifice. The core truth. God isn't looking at the size, type, or dollar amount of what we give. He's looking at the heart behind it. Abel's gift was an act of love and surrender. Cain's was an act of formality. That's why Hebrews 11:4 says, "By faith Abel brought God a better offering, and by faith he was commended as righteous." It's still true today. We can do the right thing with the wrong heart, and it won't connect with God. Watch out for the serpent. He can take many forms and wears many hats. If your focus is not steadfast in the Lord, he will whisper to you. Beware of jealousy and anger. 1 Peter 5:8. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. This verse emphasizes the need for Christians to be vigilant and aware. Even though Genesis doesn't mention Satan to be directly involved, the nature of sin was there in verse 4. 7. God warned Cain. God said sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule it. Cain deliberately ignored God's warning. Willful disobedience. 1 John 3:12. Do not be like Cain, who belongs to the evil one. John was referring that Cain belonged to Satan. Old teachings say that when Eve was in the Garden of Eden, Satan seduced her and she had Cain. And that is why John says that Cain belongs to the evil one. We have nothing to support that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to Bible Flow Media. I hope you continue this journey with me.